Welcome back to Is It Still Good, the channel where we watch older films and let you know if they still hold up. Today, we're going to get into another John Carpenter film from 1986, Big Trouble in Little China. But first, let's try to sell a book. We're back! Okay, and we're back. This is another John Carpenter film. As you guys may or may not recall, I did They Live, and it didn't really get that high of a score for me. I didn't really have that much fun rewatching it. Now, in the case of Big Trouble in Little China, spoiler, I did enjoy myself. I enjoyed myself thoroughly, as I always do when I watch this film. I've seen this film many times, and I've always been satisfied rewatching this movie. It's always been a good time for me. It's always been a good film to show a new person as well. Plenty to laugh about, plenty to talk about later. It's great. Great movie. Very Kurt Russell-y. Stars Kurt Russell, Kim Cattrall, Victor Wong, who I love, Dennis Dunn. The budget was $25 million, and in the box office it says that it made $11.1, but has gone on to be a cult favorite. So I know a lot of people that love this movie. It's not uncommon. It's thriving in the pop culture zeitgeist. I don't know. I really like a lot about this movie. The story is even fun. The way it starts, kind of like The Usual Suspects, starting with the interrogation of Egg Shen. And this interrogation was added by 20th Century Fox, and I'm glad they added it. It's kind of fun because it sets up Jack Burton pretty well, with Egg talking about how brave Jack was and how they owe him a great debt, and so on. And it allows Kurt Russell's character to be a little bit more of an asshole leading up to the ending, because the expectation of him being a great hero has already been set. I think Carpenter does a really good job of making you forget about that by the end. Kurt Russell is fairly bumbling throughout the film, so when his character, basically gets his shit together, it's very satisfying, and it harkens back to the beginning when Egg Shen was singing his praises. So, basically, this film's about an immortal wizard who preys off of the vitality of young women to remain young, and is searching for a woman, according to a prophecy, has to be one with jade green eyes.
What does it mean? Two girls with green eyes?
And in this case, he finds Dennis Dunn's character's girlfriend, as well as Kim Cattrall, who has bright green eyes, and decides to take them both for his brides, causing Kurt Russell and a faction of ninja warrior gang good guys to go rescue them. Along the way, there is monsters, swordplay, magic. Am I getting this right? It's a really weird movie to explain. It's a lot of fun. I would say it leans on the comedy side pretty heavily. Jack Burton just is walking 1980s America in my mind. James Hong nodded to this in Balls of Fury. Pretty funny. I love Egg. Victor Wong's great. This could be the most Kurt Russell-y movie ever. He's very Kurt Russell-y in this. The Three Storms inspired Raiden in Mortal Kombat, his character design. And Kurt Russell turned down the Highlander for this, and I'm so glad he did. It would have been weird if he was the Highlander and there were no Big Trouble in Little China. I believe the world would feel the lack. Anyway, the pacing of this movie is pretty fast, and there's a lot of Chinese mysticism. It's actually a really fun premise, I think. Carpenter wanted to flip the minority sidekick thing, so Jack Burton, Kurt Russell's character, is mainly the sidekick, which I like. It just feels right in this story. This is one of 5 films made with Kurt Russell and John Carpenter. They went on to work together a lot. The music is awesome for this. I really love the music. If you remember, I complained about the music in They Live being so one-note and boring. By contrast, the music in Big Trouble is a lot of fun. The effects are hilarious, practical where possible. Action-adventure is a great genre for longevity, too. It's always fun. There's murder. The monsters are amazing and hilarious. They remind me of, Garbage Pail Kids in design, kind of. The fighting is cheesy, but a lot of fun, so that's good. And it just keeps getting crazier and crazier until the end. It's a crazy movie that gets weirder and weirder as it goes on, and then it ends. I mean, I don't know what else you want in a movie. For me, this is exactly what I want in a movie. Escapism. A lot of fun. I want to laugh a bunch. I want to have a good time. I want to talk about it later. I want to be able to show a film to new people and have them have the same experience. And I think you can do that with Big Trouble in Little China. A masterpiece, arguably, by John Carpenter. But if you look at the rest of his work, it's one of my favorites that he's done. Maybe, if not the favorite, by him. And although I was disappointed with my rewatch of They Live, I was pleasantly surprised by my rewatch of Big Trouble. So I can highly recommend this one. You don't need to be drunk to watch it. You don't need anything extra to watch it. You can watch this movie at any time during the day, night. You can catch a part of it and be satisfied. It puts you in that space in your brain that is reserved for, at least in my case, childlike 80s practical effect wonder. And I love that. And it's a simple story with just a handful of characters. And I love personal stories. Those are my favorite. So anyway, I don't know where this one's going to land either. I think this is going to land before the Crix Mix episode. I'm trying to do a big fancy Crix Mix episode for you guys. And I'm going to pick 5 holiday films that are must-watches for this year. And we're going to go down the list. My Is It Still Good? Top 5 must-watch Crix Mix films for 2022. What do you guys think about that? I even made a special intro. It's so weird. It's so weird. But anyway, hang in there. What did you think of Big Trouble in Little China? What do you think of this film? When's the last time you saw it? If not, I implore you, go back and give it a watch. I think you may find, as I've found, that it holds up each and every time. It's awesome. Kim Cantrell's awesome in it too. She's actually a really good leading actress in this film. She's very funny. She has great chemistry with Kurt Russell. You can see why they both went on to have great big careers and be famous folks. They certainly had a very watchable quality to them, at least in this film, Big Trouble in Little China. John Carpenter, a masterpiece. Or do you guys not really like this one? Am I alone? So did I give it a numeric score yet? If not, I would give Big Trouble in Little China an 8 out of 10. That's right. 8 out of 10. I think that's totally fair. Maybe even 8.5 out of 10, depending on your tolerance for cheese and or Kurt Russell. I happen to like both, making this maybe even secretly an 8.5 out of 10, but publicly an 8 out of 10 for me. Highly recommend. Go watch it, and we will see you next time on Is It Still Good?